Welcome to today's broadcast. No matter what kind of day you're having, please remember that God is big and He is good. He is bigger and better than you think. GIF animations are common on social media sites. Short animations didn't start off digitally though. The first short animations were made by painting images in sequenced positions of motion around the perimeter of a glass disc. The zoopraxiscope, invented by Edward Muybridge in 1879, projected images from these rotating glass discs in rapid succession to give the impression of motion. Now picture yourself showing up on a day in 1880 to work for some guy for the first day on the job who had a funny name and who wanted you to paint animals in various degrees of motion. You sit down at your workstation with one color of paint and one glass disc. You begin by painting a standing mule on the edge of the disc, and as you work your way around the disc, you paint stills of the mule in sequenced positions of motion until you reach your starting point, where the mule is again standing. And you do this day after day after day. Boring? Well, it certainly would be unless you could see into the future. It would be boring if you thought you were just painting animals on glass discs. But it would be something different if you knew you were a part of pioneering the motion picture industry. Now, there's a certain amount of drudge work to every great achievement, but it doesn't seem like drudgery if you're focused on the end result. There's a certain amount of drudge work in developing your faith in God, but it doesn't seem like drudge work if you're focused on the end result. Peter did not understand how his daily activities could at all be connected to anything great that Jesus was doing, and vice versa. Obviously, Peter had respect for Jesus, or he wouldn't have called Jesus Master. But Peter made no connection between his daily life and God's eternal purposes, or he would have responded differently when Jesus said, "Launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch." Instead, Peter responded with what's recorded in Luke 5:5. "Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net." Peter was essentially saying, "Jesus, I will take you at your word and do what you tell me to do. But with all due respect, sir, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot more to fishing than you realize, and there's nothing going on out there in the lake." Well, of course, we know the rest of that story. But in our own story, how often do we refuse to make the connection between what can appear to be the drudgery of our everyday lives and the eternal glory that can result from this light affliction, as the Apostle Paul calls it? For more, please visit GiveMeThatMountain.org, and you have a wonderful day.